We will now fix the side line that will go from the side of a neckline, go through the tip of a shoulder, and down vertically to the bottom of a mannequin. Traditionally, this side line is not at the middle between front middle line and back middle line. A side seam of a garment has a certain thickness that would add a visual thickness to the silhouette if the side line was located at the middle between back and front. That's why this seam and the mannequin side line is moved classically 1 cm to the back to prevent the thickness of side seam to be noticed. A thick fabric, for example, can add up to 1 cm thickness at side seam on each side. Only sportswear pattern makers can work with back and front of the same width, but for all other styles of clothing, this rule of shifting the side seam of 1 cm to the back applies. Now we are going to set pins to mark this side line before fixing any ribbon. This side line should be vertical from below the arm down to the hip. I use first the half neck measurement from my size table, which is 18 cm. On my mannequin, this measurement is the half neckline length. This half is 9 cm, but I shift 1 cm to the back, which gives me 8 cm between back middle and side lines. I set a pin to mark this point. Then I have to do the same operation at the waistline, the small hip line and the full hip line. In the size chart, you see that waist is 68 cm. I divide 68 cm by 4 and get 17 cm. Shifting 1 cm to the back, I mark a pin at 16 cm from the back middle line. I do the same with a small hip and then I do the same with a full hip. Now we have several markers to set the side line, but there's no mark on the bust line. It's because the front and the back are too different along bust line, so we cannot use this rule of 1 cm shift. It's only when we set the ribbon between the other marks that the crossing point between side line and bust line will be defined. I place the tip of my tape measure on my pin at the neckline and I gently pull down the tape going over the other pin markers I placed before. This is how I find out the crossing between bust line and side line and the shoulder point as well. To find out the shoulder point, there is a rather complicated calculation using a measurement that's difficult to get. But this other way of finding it is very satisfactory because the important thing here is to get an harmonious line that doesn't go forward and backward. Now, you use your tape to find out this shoulder point in relation to the other marks and at the same time define the crossing with the bust line. That's it, I set the side line in place, which starts from the neckline with 1 cm of offset and crosses the waistline, the line of small hip, the line of full hip, always with the same offset of 1 cm toward the back. It may happen that your side line is not perfectly vertical, and this could be because your form back is arched. If this deviation remains modest, it doesn't matter. We are now setting our last line. Thank you for your patience. This line will materialize the armhole, that is to say, around the arm. This line will go over the end of cross back line, the end of cross front line, the shoulder point, which is where the sleeve will be set, and finally the underarm point. To materialize the underarm point, there is a rather complicated calculation that I will avoid here. I just prefer to set it on top of a side line at 12.5 cm above the bust line and mark it with a pin. So here is 2.5 cm. Here on shoulder line I measure 12 cm and set a pin. These 12 cm are the shoulder length for 38 size as listed in my size table. You can see here that the pin I set at 12 cm is not at the end of my mannequin shoulder. This is not a problem, indeed. The shoulder goes around down to the arm and the mannequin shows out only a small part of the upper arm. On this form, the armhole line will go through this point at 12 cm from the neckline.
Now I have a look in my size table for the armhole length for 38 size, which is 39.5 cm long. But how to place this line of armhole? Well, you just have to make a loop of 39.5 cm with your tape measure, and then you place this loop to make sure that it passes by the point of shoulders. You see that it passes naturally by the extremity of the cross front in the front and by the extremity of the cross back, and also by the underarm point. At this point of underarm, it will be important to keep the line horizontal for at least 1 cm towards the back and at least 2 cm towards the front. This is important to give comfort under the arm. Then you place pins marks following this loop while keeping a flat area of 3 cm under the arm, 1 cm toward the back and 2 cm toward the front. You pin your ribbon, taking care to create an harmonious line. I have now finished preparing my mannequin with that last line, the line of armhole. Here is this line I just pinned on my form. You can see that it goes through all points I marked before: cross front point, the underarm point, carefully remaining horizontal for 3 cm, then it goes to the cross back point and finally the shoulder point. At the shoulder point, the armhole line must cross the shoulder line perpendicularly, so that the seam of the sleeve at this level does not peak or hollow. The mannequin is now prepared. We will keep these lines for a while because it will be useful for all our projects. This operation is quite long and tedious, but it will make the work on the form much easier. At home, if you want to train, you can also prepare the other side of the form. This is not mandatory. The lines are traditionally only set on the right side, but you can do it for aesthetic reasons as well. See you soon!